Oh Lord, may we all be blessed with enemies as dumb as this. So, the Avowed Obsidian drama is escalating yet again, as posts from Matt, the art director, the art daddy that we talked about earlier, have emerged where he says, reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio, reviews or job advice. My DMs are open and you will always have my priority. We got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. Oh boy, you cannot convince me that there isn't an element of fetishism in this level of self-hatred that some people on the left have. Like, Jesus, this has got to be just the second level of cuckery, surely. But anywho, this has quickly been picked up on, amongst others, by Chris Avellone. Now, you may remember him. He was an art director in Obsidian back in the good old days on New Vegas and on, I believe, the Star Wars game as well that they did. He also dabbled in Bloodlines 2 for a little bit. That must have been unfortunate for him, and everybody else involved for that matter. So, based on recent news, if you were rejected from an art position at Obsidian in the past few years, call a lawyer. Discrimination in hiring, especially for a Microsoft studio, can ensure you don't need to apply for a job ever again. Wow, that's kind of true, yes. And it shouldn't cost you a cent to initiate legal action. The lawyers will know what the case is worth and they'll do the heavy lifting. So, he is, in large parts, of course, correct here. Even more so due to what has also happened surrounding this. So, this is Elon Musk here. It should not be acceptable for any company in the gaming industry to be racist and sexist against white guys. Responding to the Blue Sky post that Matt Hansen put out. So, he is confessing to illegal behavior won't end well for him, and later he tags in the CEO of Microsoft. Now, if some rando was to like, hey, Microsoft CEO, this guy working for Obsidian, who just so happens to be connected to your company, is admitting to criminal action. Perhaps this makes you somewhat liable, right? Perhaps some sort of action need to be taken. I am sure it would be ignored. But when Elon Musk attacks you with it, holy shit. You know, part of me actually feels a little bit bad for Mr. Matt Hansen here because, good God, what an avalanche of shit he's managed to bring down upon himself. I mean, hey, with his own racism, mind you, but even so, I just imagine him lying in bed next to his Bullen wife, one presumes, and thinking, God, I will never have a job ever again. No, he's actually admitting to legitimate criminal activity here. That's the problem. You see, unlike the interpretation that a lot of left-wingers have, our current-day anti-discrimination legal apparatus in the entirety of the West, pretty much, was actually written by actual liberals back in the day, who didn't go, oh no, you're not allowed to discriminate against black people. No, they simply wrote, you are not allowed to discriminate. Simple, easy, clear-cut, no discrimination, full stop. None of this positive discrimination nonsense, none of your, oh, but what if systematic racism? No, you don't discriminate. We solve discrimination by making discrimination illegal, regardless of against whom it is. And, well, Matt has done the first intelligent thing he has done so far in this whole debacle. He has deleted everything he can. Only his webpage is still live, and if you try to click on contacts, you are simply rerouted to a blank page. As he has deleted his Twitter, he has deleted his Blue Sky, and he has tried to wipe out all the evidence that could very possibly be used against him in the near future. Unfortunately, the internet is of course forever, and a lot of this has already been screenshotted or even straight up archived, and oh boy. So, the interesting thing here is, you could certainly argue right-wing cancel culture, and I'm sure Matt himself and a fair few on the left is arguing that very self-same thing right now, but, well, I believe it's a little bit different, one, when it's an actual crime, two, when it's actually confessed to by the individual in question, and three, don't you dare wield that stick against me. That's my stick now. It is for us to wield, and it will be wielded if for no other reason than to finally deliver the point that we brought up 10 years ago when all this nonsense first started, when we were all in unison going, don't do that. The thing you're normalizing right now, it will be wielded against you. This is a bad tactic that you are normalizing. And we were told, oh no, they deserve it. We will never lose power because we're the good guys. How did that work out for you? Now you have probably one of the most powerful people on Earth going after you, Matt Hansen, for something that was supposedly also said quite a few years ago. Now, this screenshot right here, I believe is old, retweeted recently. I'm not exactly sure, as I've been unable to find an archive of the original, mind you. So I don't know if this was done yesterday or 4 years ago during an entirely different cultural paradox. Even though, mind you, discrimination was illegal back then too, unless you live in California, that is. In certain regards, positive discrimination is actually enshrined in law, because California is an extraordinarily backward racist country. Yes, I do describe it as a country these days, and I think the majority of the Americans would agree with me, frankly. Oh my god. Now, Obsidian needs to do something here, because right now, their game is getting absolutely plastered. It is going to get destroyed by this. We have seen games be brought low by significantly less in terms of negative outrage than this, and it is legitimate outrage as well. Obsidian has painted an enormous target on their own backs, like 2 months before their game releases? It already doesn't exactly look like a game that might stand up particularly well to scrutiny, shall we say, of the modern day kind. It looks like a modern audience kind of video games. Its sales potential was already shaky, and now this. The problem, no doubt, runs significantly deeper than just Matt here, mind you, because as I have pointed out in the last video, there are quite a few people at Obsidian who have made Blue Sky accounts recently, or who have said interesting things in the past in accordance with the old cultural paradigm. No doubt Matt Hansen's racism was not only accepted at Obsidian, but probably outright lauded. However, mayhaps this might send a message to the rest of the company. Don't do illegal shit. Or if you're going to, at the very least, don't admit to it in public. God. The era where you can say shit like this and get away with it, which was merely just a year or two ago, really, is coming rapidly to an end. I do hope there are some legitimate actual reactions against this, because again, depending upon how long this was ago, statute of limitations, etc., Chris Avellone has absolutely got a point here. There is absolutely a ground for legal action here, major legal action that would spiral into not only a host of negative PR for Obsidian, but for, of course, Microsoft by extension, and with, again, somebody who's been known to picking up the legal fees for people who have found themselves in political squeezes. This is a dangerous situation for Microsoft, even though, bear you in mind, allow me to insert a little bit of a black pill here at the end, it is quite difficult to prove discrimination in these cases. You would, of course, need to basically subpoena Obsidian, like, okay, what were your hiring processes, who were involved, why did you deny this guy the job, why did you give it to this person, and it is not a simple thing. But it might very well be the kind of thing that will receive so much negative PR that it will force a settlement. Like Disney did recently, for example, over the accusations of, what was it? Not illegal hiring practices, but unequal payments and compensation, that was it, to the tune of a fair few $1 million. Not to mention, of course, Avowed is a fairly large game. I think it's been developed for, what was it, 3 odd years at Obsidian? Having it be an absolute, utter, unmitigated failure, largely because one of your art directors couldn't keep his mouth shut. Well, on the one hand, it is exactly the kind of example I like to see in the video game industry, for this is another totem, another concord with which to beat them over their collective heads with. But for people in charge at Obsidian, it's probably about the closest you can get to a proper nightmare. God. You love to see it. You truly do. Good luck, Obsidian. You're going to need it. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.